Greetings. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth, and I wanted to make sure that my live broadcast was actually showing up. It might be taking a moment. It looks like I'm live right now. Let's see if that shows up. There it is. Let's go with a little sound. Make sure that my live broadcast was actually showing up. A moment. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I wanted to elaborate on that a little bit. See if that shows up. Okay, so we've got the reality of well, we've got the truth, and we've got knowing. This right here is the Lounge V that I invite my friends to look at it. Beautiful videography from all over the world, and some beautiful music. You can clue into whatever you want on there. You can play whatever you care to watch and listen to that. It's kind of interesting. Earlier, let's see, there we go. I actually had a live broadcast that apparently didn't go live. I didn't know why, but that's the way it was. So this morning we've got a little gentle breeze and rain coming out of that direction, a couple miles an hour. Now the YouTube Truth Mobile is working better, that I'm firing on all 8 cylinders. I had washed my engine before it went in for service, and some of the water got into the spark plug port and shorted it out. So I didn't have it. Yesterday it stopped running on all 8. Okay. And so the other thing is, Australia, are you okay there? Yeah, I'm sure it is. If I were to say, you know what, it's raining out, there's sufficient evidence of that. If I were to say we actually lived on a globe, what would be my evidence of that? Well, we don't live on a globe. That globe is round, but it's also spherical. The bottom of the jug is round. However, the water within the jug will flatten right out. We've got empirical evidence that contradicts the official narrative of what humanity is being force-fed, and I mean force-fed through indoctrinations in schools and the social structure. Step out of line, you'll be ridiculed, could be fired, could be killed, depending on where you fit into the structure. The Illuminati, Satanists, don't have a problem killing people. Okay, if I were to say, I can jump start a car with this, or a motorcycle with this little power pack. Well, it's got 4 lights. I've done it. I've been on the Truth Cycle and started a big truck with a big trailer on it. And it's funny, the guys had their hood up, and I said, hey, I drove up on the motorcycle. I said, do you gentlemen need a jump start? And they said, yeah, we're waiting for our help to arrive. I said, it just did. Would you like me to jump start it? And he looks at me like, are you kidding? I said, yeah, I can do that. I've got this, and then I've got these that connect to it and can jump start that, power up my phone. Now I've got this one too. This has 4 lights as well. I don't know that you can see it so good there, but it's fully charged. If I set my phone on this, it'll charge there, but it has no capacity to jump start a vehicle. However, I could transfer the power from this one to this one and then jump start it. So it's about the power, and it's about having the connectivity to make it work. Okay, so here's where I'm going with this. I thought I was born again until I actually was. Okay, I was a child of God, and I was not yet connected in a way that gave me the power that I needed to do what I needed to do. That's the deal with that. So just having the capacity to do it and having the ability to do it aren't exactly the same. So where I'm trying to go with this is that I'm not the guy that I was. And I'm going to take us for a drive now. The sun is approaching on our stationary Earth. And I'm headed towards the beach. Now, there's believing that. You could say, well, yeah, I've seen Robert do this a few times, or maybe this is the first time watching. So what I want to explain is that because of some technical issues, I'm now not using a remote microphone or a set of headphones, just because it was cutting in and out yesterday. That was a problem. So I'm about 15 minutes away from the beach at my driveway, and roughly 8.5 feet above sea level. And as I take the drive, you should be able to observe that. I know some of my broadcasts are rather long. I don't have a problem with that. If you care to scroll on through the video that is rather long, you can do that, and what'll happen is that you can at that point, decide what you want to land on and actually watch more of. Definitely not a time to pull out. That was the time to pull out. And I couldn't have done that yesterday with my engine not firing on all cylinders. I talked with Mackenzie from Apple Computer yesterday. She helped me with tech support. And we were on the phone for almost 2 hours. It took only a few minutes to solve my technical issue. And at the end of our conversation, she said, "Keep doing what you're doing." She's been a truth seeker for a long time. She sounded like she was in her mid-20s. And it was interesting. She made some comments like, "Yeah, I'm sure you take a lot of heat for what you're doing." I said, "Oh yeah, I do." Her mother was a pharmaceutical representative, and we touched on that. She said, "Yeah, that's criminal, what's going on with the pharmaceutical industry." And she was aware that the fires in California were not natural. They were arson. And then the big question is, who was the arsonist? Well, I believe artificial intelligence was very much involved in that. That's one of the things to consider. Artificial intelligence is modifying the weather and the world that we live in. How we perceive the world we live in by brainwashing humanity with deception. That's just the way I believe it actually is. And then people will have their idea of what they believe the truth about that is. What I want to illustrate is I'm going the speed limit, and then there will be people that have to exceed the speed limit. I used to do it all the time, especially when we had young children. The irony with some of that is that it's very stressful. It adds to the stress load, and it now, looking back in the rear view mirror, I recognize that it was poor planning on my part. And one of the termites of time that I had in my life was television. I would get sucked into the vortex of watching even television programming I had seen before, like comedies that I liked. Oh well, what value is there in it? Actually, it's a negative return on the investment. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around again. And up on the right, we've got a brand new hospital addition. On the left, we've got a 1,200 house development that's going in. And there's a nursing home over there, and it's just beautiful what they're doing there with that. And I'm not going to go in there right now. I might on the way back when it's a little bit more beautiful, a little more sun, a little less rain. They've got a huge hole they chopped in the ground. Actually, it's being worked as a median. They make the blacktop on each side of it, then they cut that out with bulldozers and that. It's going to be beautiful. There will be vehicle sensing light signals, automatic signals. How does that work? Well, the sensor will tell that a vehicle's there and activate a light. Sometimes people don't park on the sensor. It happened yesterday next to me. A car was beyond it and a cement truck was behind it, and they didn't get the green arrow. It's just the way it works. Right now, in the view, I'm going to drop down a little bit and then go up over the top of the intracoastal waterway, which is affected by the tidal activity. So this is vlogging. I was vlogging even before I knew what it was. I'm not only showing empirical evidence, I'm presenting what I believe to be the reality of the world that we live in, and how we can overcome that deception. So we're approaching the height of it, the apex. We can tell because now we can see beyond. It all has to do with perspective. That right there is the waterway down in the middle there. So when I say it's raining, yeah, obviously I'm driving a car and it's hitting my windshield. If I were at home using a garden hose, creating a little micro, pretend rain, you would be able to know that. But out in public, driving around with all the other people on the video, you can see that it's beyond my ability to contrive and create like a green screen type of activity. This is all, as best I can tell, it's real. It's really important to get this right. And it's really important to go the speed limit around here. It's easy to get a speeding ticket in this area. We're really policed up, and that's just great. I like that. So one of the clues will be the reflections, the reflections and the flat and level water. It's not just flat water. Undisturbed water is flat and level. It's just what it does. So that's part of the dynamic of looking at the information I'm presenting to you and then evaluating it and seeing if it's accurate. Can I hit this on the green light? Absolutely. You know, I ride a motorcycle around this area. I know the timing of the lights. They don't mix it up just to keep it interesting. They try and help people to be able to do that. And it helps the flow. I don't know if you've ever driven in a city that has really poor timing on their lights. They're like not even working together. Well, that was poor planning when that happens like that. So artificial intelligence, what is it? It's machine learning computers that are writing their own software. About that, there was a movie in the 70s, if you know the name of it, I believe Wargames maybe, and they had some high-level movie stars in there as well. Shall we play the game? It was a computer synthesized voice that talked about a simulated nuclear war, and it was I I'm not going to repeat the whole storyline, but the bottom line on it was the best way to win was not to play the game. Mutually assured destruction. And then there are some that'll say, well, nuclear weapons aren't actually real. We know we've got radioactivity, and we know we've got powerful explosives. Is there some kind of a combination of that gives the illusion and the effect that's different than we're presented? Could possibly be. When we had Hurricane Florence coming in last fall, we were getting readings, or there were readings being taken from buoys out there that were showing 20-knot winds, and the Weather Channel was telling us we had in excess of 140 knots. What was actual? What was accurate? Okay, so it's raining, a lot of puddles, a lot of reflections, not many cars. I'm driving where all the cars would normally be on a beautiful sunny morning. And then, of course, we've got, dun dun dun, the toilet that's not upside down in relationship to other toilets in the world. That's why I said, do you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? The global lie says that there's 4 different movements of rotation that's wobbling, tilted on an axis, and then hurling through space in imaginary speeds. So when somebody says, oh, that poor Robert, he's just the biggest friggin' simpleton, showing us water. Water exposes the global lie. You can't, here, let me show you. Okay, so I don't think I would show you with the shower, but that's not going to work real good because you're not going to see it with the backdrop. I'll show you with this. So that's the reality of it. That's just what the water does. And what we're told by the official lying system, the artificial intelligence that's brainwashed humanity through high-powered technology. The very technology I'm using right now is used to deceive humanity, and I'm doing the opposite. Is this coffee or just charcoal-colored water? Coffee. I wouldn't want to be drinking charcoal to trick you. I have no reason to want to trick you. That's the point of that. So in the view right here, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you that car right there. When I back up, there is a puddle right down below. There it is, right in the view. And I pull ahead a little bit, and there's the wheels of it. There's the windows of it. That little puddle right down there. See it? That's a perfect flat liquid mirror. I had one of my friends say, yep, only flat water reflects is a mirror. Well, mirrors are all around. Even wet water is a mirror. But the flat water shows something a bit more. It shows the symmetry. Those are some big waves coming in right there. And I'm going to take us over to the Prince Pier, but I can show you here a little bit differently. The water is extremely powerful. Those are probably 3 to 4 foot waves right now. And I can tell that there's very little wind because of how the face of the wave is staying open. I would think by the look of those waves, there's probably some surfers out there at the pier. What do you think? Let's go check it out. So I can believe that there's going to be surfers there, and then I can know whether or not that's the case in just a little bit. So even though I have the ability to go when the lights turn green, I still look because I don't want to get smashed into. Being a motorcyclist, that's a very real, it's more than a fender bender. If that happens on a motorcycle, that could be it. My friend Matt, who used to work at the Prince Pier bait shop, got in a motorcycle accident, got on pain medication and then psychiatric medication, and then ended his life a little while ago, a few months ago. Same day, a mutual friend, Ronnie, died of a heart attack. Same day, he died of a heart attack. He was like a couple years older than me. That can happen. Okay, we'll be able to see that truck a little bit better right now. The water impairs our view. Humidity is a limiter of visibility because light reflects off of it. Wow, that was a pretty reflection there. The lights were hitting that bead of water, I think. That's why. Wow, the waves don't look quite as big here. And that can be the case because of the configuration of the beach. The beach right here faces in a southeasterly, or I should say the pier is slightly southeast, not directly south. Hey Jeff, good to see you. No surfers out yet, maybe a little bit later. So today at this time, I would think there would be, well, it's going to be a little bit different activity of the tide under the road over there. I showed you yesterday the culverts that go underneath the road. When we had Hurricane Florence, water covered this road for a bit. Hurricane Matthew, even more. Hurricane Matthew was a lot more. Several feet of water on this road. Now the lighting and the backlighting and the contrast with clouds and all of that really affects what we can see with the mirrors that the water is. There will be kind of like a matte finish on the water when it's raining like this. There's the, whoa, that's different. Oh, now I know what it is. My headlight was on. There we go. Can see some geese out there. When we've got a little water puddle like that, it gets quieter and still a lot quicker. That's just the way it actually works. The low spot in the parking lot is where the drain is, for obvious reasons. I could say it's a little windy and I could show it to you, the effects of the wind. It's the simplicity of the reality. I can see the contour of the parking lot and then it goes to the low spot. Now, I can hear a jet up there, but I can't see him. There's no way. The water tower right there is all covered up. They're going to be painting it, sandblasting and painting it. One of the dirtiest jobs I've ever done was sandblasting with over 1,000 pounds air pressure, moving sand to knock rust and steel and paint off of metal. We've got, looks like Canadian geese out there. When I go through the construction site, and I'll go back there again today, I'm going to have a more brisk pace. We've got the porta units that go outside of construction sites. A large operation like a big building, which has a lot of crews, will have a whole bunch of them lined up because they have a break. And then they all use the facilities in a synchronized manner, more or less. And then when you've got a job site with one house, well, they've got all the contractors that come there, and they can take turns. It's no problem. It's just the way it actually works. That's the reality of what I'm wanting to explain. As much as I don't like the way that my iPhone 10 microphone works, they've waterproofed or made the phone much more water resistant. So I'm out here in the rain and it's no big deal. There's the geese I could see earlier, and the tide is coming in. If I were to stay here for a few hours, the water would cover this and go up the steps and move that marsh grass around again. That's how precision the water seeking its level is. Some of the Canadians come here and stay. Canadian geese. Yesterday or the day before, or other photos before, I'll show the beautiful reflections of the house. It's still a mirror, but it's not flat. It's got texture because the wind is now coming from that direction at probably 5 to 7 miles an hour. In the summer, the sun appears over there from this exact vantage point. I've got video proof of it. Today, it would appear over in this area from this vantage point. The days are getting longer. The sun is appearing sooner when it's clearer, and then it's vanishing later over there. And once again, it's like running a course, like a race. So have you ever been to a racetrack? I have. My dad and I used to watch race cars at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And it cost, like a couple $100 to go watch a race there for the big races. Well, 100th of a second means the difference between winning and second place, maybe. That type of thing. If you watch the different sports, there's a path that the runners run. Well, the scripture says that, the Bible says that the sun and the moon move a course above the stationary earth. Okay, today, because of the wind, we can't see the building too well. Right there we can, because of the more quiet water in that location. So like we've got the mirrors of the flat water, and then the architecture that we can see with that. That's why a simple puddle can illustrate something so profound. one of the reasons. So the wind is coming from that direction. We've got the wind break there. It's downwind, down a little bit lower. So that's why it's much quieter, much more still. So the architectural design accounts for creating the flow of water away from the structure, or else you would have a swimming pool. So I'm really not discouraged, even if there's only a couple of viewers at a time on the live broadcast, because this is more than a live broadcast. It's it will be archived on Facebook and YouTube. I'll convert it to a YouTube video, and I never know when something is gonna get a lot more views, because that's out of my hands. I'm not responsible for that. I'm just responsible for my obedience, that's all. So that's one of the things that people will see when they go by. I want them to look, I want them to go there. Okay, so yesterday when I came out from the sun for the sunrise, the water was flowing the opposite direction, and we could see the perfect reflection of most of the structures. Now we can tell that the wind is coming from that direction, same direction from my back. It's flowing over the top of this railing and creating a still area. That's why it's glassy here. And we can see the shapes of the aerodynamics. Does it matter? Well, yeah, of course it does. It matters because it's reliable, it's consistent, and we've got fluid and aerodynamics that go into the design of cars, airplanes, aircraft, all of that. Now, today it's moving this direction. As this comes up and the tide is coming in, we'll get a whirlpool going the opposite direction here. And I've got video evidence of that. Yesterday, on the other side, we had counterclockwise. They were spinning opposite of one another, totally blowing the toilet water, spinning opposite directions in the opposite hemispheres. There is no hemisphere. There's up and down, and that's it. We don't have people upside down in relationship to other people. We don't have any evidence of that except in the imagination. I'm being completely blunt here. Did you believe the Santa Claus lie? I did. I was about 7 years old and I realized it was a lie. They told me it was. My parents did. They said, yeah, Santa doesn't deliver all the presents. It was us and your grandparents and that. Okay, I'm good with that. Why did you lie? Is Jesus a lie too? How about the Easter Bunny? How about the tooth fairy? I had a broken tooth. My dad took a bolt cutter, cut a nickel in half and put it under my pillow to replace the broken tooth with a cut in half nickel. Very creative. I'm not all mad that he did it. It's like, so that was a part of the accepted deception, was the perpetuating the Santa lie. Santa lies, let me put a mug on. Santa lies, that's all the lies about Santa. NASA lies about going to the moon and hurling through space, and Satan lies. He's the father of lies. How about that? Is that true? Is it true that Satan is a liar? I would say so. NASA is obviously a liar, and Santa is definitely a lie. And the people that perpetuated the Santa lie would be friends, family, weather people, NORAD, NASA, the whole thing. News presenters, all of them. Here we've got a school bus. On my view the other day, my video, I showed a couple of school buses here, and then I showed one on the Paradise fires of school buses that were incinerated. Am I a little passionate about that? It really pisses me off. Artificial intelligence burned people alive. It was arson. So they're lying to the children and then burning them up and burning the people up. Directed energy weapons. You can YouTube it. YouTube Truth. Look it up. The Paradise Fires videos were taken down on my channel because a Plain Truth 1 was taken down. And then a Plain Truth 2 is now taking its place. So does it make you mad that people are getting burned alive? It should. It should. Is it true? Is what? Okay, so there's apparently about 50,000 people missing in Paradise, California and around there. Have you looked at it? Go to my YouTube, my Facebook channel, or my Facebook page and YouTube channel. Or not. That's entirely up to you. I have no control of what other people think, say, believe, or do. What I simply endeavor to do is be a catalyst for consideration. I want you to be able to make an informed choice for your eternity. Where will you spend eternity? And will that be based on a lie or on the truth? What is the truth? How will you know it when you see it? Makes me upset that people are being murdered. Posted a video, they're talking about the economic system of the world and mentioning the globe. It's part of the global deception is the globe itself. And then the global deception is anything that's not the truth in the world. So when somebody is talking about the globalists and they're not exposing the global lie, here, let's just put the globe down a little bit there so you can see the truth of the globe. Let's see, do I have somebody coming? I do. How about that? Yeah, it's a big deal. They're lying. They're lying, and I ain't buying it. Not anymore. That's why I'll do this. I know we have a lot on our plate. Many of us do. And so the idea is, what will we do with the time that we have? We can leverage instantaneous worldwide communications and the interconnectivity of the social media structure and the artificial intelligence that I'm all upset with. And yet here's one of the things to consider is the reality that God created, the God of the Bible, Yahweh, the great I am, Yeshua, you may call him, a Hebrew reference to his name. We don't get to heaven by keeping the Torah. Torah observance doesn't make you all right with God. You need to be born again. And the way that that happens, as best I can tell, is the Holy Spirit takes up residence within his children. And that's going to happen to all of his children at some point in the human experience. Who are they? I don't know. I don't know exactly. There's a lot of religious phonies. I was one. I thought I was born again until I actually was. I believed I was born again. And then when I actually was, as best I can tell, there was a change so significant that I just became passionate about sharing that reality with everybody I could by any means I was able to utilize. That's why I do this. Australia is the yellow one. A continent of much controversy. I met Connie at the pier the other day. She told me that they're having to kill a lot of cattle there because they're in mud that they can't get out of, and they're starving to death. Tragic. Are those storms natural? Unlikely, because the whole atmosphere, and now I said sphere, atmosphere, we do have a dome above us, the firmament. That's biblical, and I believe that's reality as well. So it's a container. We have the earth covered primarily by water. We've got mountains with elevation. Apparently, Mount Everest is 5.49 miles tall, which is just shy of, just shy of 30,000 feet, okay, or so. How do I mean, is what they're telling us in the books accurate? There was a police officer poised and ready to give a reminder to anybody who would be exceeding the speed limit or have a blinker out, that kind of thing. That's good. That's good. I see it. I see people get pulled over a lot. It doesn't happen to me normally. Every now and again. So I'm going to approach the Intracoastal Waterway again. So in the Myrtle Beach area, we'll have roughly, we had about 20 million guests here last year. Sometimes when I get to this point in the broadcast, when I'm driving here, there will be an interruption in the signal. So part of this is a test to see if that's the case. We have optical limitations, and we have a spherical eyeball. Our optical receptors are round, which gives the eye is amazing. It's a direct link to the brain, and so at this point I like to say, seeing is believing. What do we see? What do we believe? What is the truth? When I saw the events of 9/11 of 2001, I believed the official narrative, whatever it was. And it's been proven to be absolutely not possible. A cover-up, a lie, that was controlled demolition, the false pretense for war. Oh well. Call me whatever you want, anti-American, conspiracy theorist. People believe largely the lie they want to believe. I just have a real appetite for the truth. That's all. The truth is the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit just went into effect where I just went. And I want to go the speed limit. I have no problem obeying the laws. Now that I'm not riding dirty under the influence of drugs and alcohol, I just have no reason to do anything illegal. Nothing. So this is Bridgewater, and it's a planned community that's conveniently located, obviously next to the ocean. I'm looking at a couple of concrete pumpers. That's going to be absolutely perfect. I met Rick yesterday, who oversaw the construction of Market Common and different developments down south. A lot of major developing in this area. He's been doing this for a long time. So I'm going to want to take us where I can show you the pumping of the concrete. I have a video that I called Concrete Seeking Its Level. Concrete seeks its level. I hashtagged it. And it will. They'll use diesel pumps to pump concrete up into a boom, and then it'll set. And then once it cures, it will be strong enough to build a structure on. I had one of my friends last night send me a video or a photo. He's talking about the New Jerusalem being, I believe it's 1,500 miles square. Well, you wouldn't set that on a ball now, would you? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't do that. I think my concrete is over this way. We'll see. I know that they had a slab ready to pour. There's the porta unit that I mentioned, and they're all over the place here. There's the concrete truck. I'm getting warmer. My dad used to sell steel to concrete truck manufacturers, Oshkosh Truck, and they also have Oshkosh Truck makes trucks for the military industrial complex as well. Looks like I can go this way without creating too much trouble. And that's Myrtle Beach Pumping. And then we've got a line of trucks there. And then we've got the Elvis porta unit. Let's see. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, when the and these guys can all use the different porta units that are all around here. You got to know when it's concrete time and it's setting up, or once it's put together. Once you add the cement, it's ready to. It's starting to cure right away. They just keep it moving, and then there's real particular, how would we say, terms that go with it. The slump of the concrete. There's a driveway that was just poured. A few more here that have recently been poured. When you're looking at a large project like this, it's amazing. And this area obviously has vehicles out in front of it. They're occupied, I would think, right? It's not a movie set, right? That'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm going to take you to this make-believe development. No, it's a real development. And in a little bit, they'll take you know, a slab like that. They'll pour a slab in probably a half an hour. That concrete will come flying out of there, and then later on today, if I were to come on by here, there would be troweling machines that they'll use for that. It rotates and flattens it out and makes it just nice and smooth and flat and level. They don't make it tipped a little bit. So here's well, that's not what I wanted. There's the flat sidewalk, the flat water, the fountain in the middle. Yesterday I took us over here, and I'll zoom in a little bit. Let's see what we can do for that. It's a little muddier. I'm not going to go out there today. Live It Up. That was, these are all just beautiful photographs in the amenity center for here, Bridgewater. So what direction is the wind blowing? I think we can see that, right? It's pretty calm too. And it'll have the fragrance of pine trees. They've largely left the mature oak trees. I took us for a ride in the areas where they've got the large oak trees. I'm going to take us over there right now. And then what I'll do is I'll link this, the Bridgewater official Facebook page, and I'll if they have the invite people to like the page, I'll probably do that. It's one of the nicest developments, you know, just a few minutes from the beach. Why not? What's not to like about that? I would like more people to come here and live here. So we've got this home right here in the middle of the view is the design gallery, and then the welcome center. And the Myrtle Beach International Airport is a beautiful airport with a lot of traffic that goes through there because this is such a highly visited area. Although it's one of the most driven to destinations in North America, I believe it is the most. It might be the most in the world too, could be. So right in the view there is the slab with all the plumbing stubs that are coming up for all the bathrooms that'll take the place of the porta unit. So I've driven into a parking lot to get pine pellets for our kitties. That's what we use for our cat litter boxes. Pine pellets are used for horses, and it's really good to use for our kitties. It's healthier for them and for me. The scoopable litter turns into a cementuous, like a concrete, a cement in the lungs. Not good to breathe. So when I pulled in the parking lot there to pick those up, I saw that the teenagers were going on their phone, and they were looking at my car, and I was on the phone with a friend, Urgie, and I said, hey, I gotta let you go. I'm gonna go talk to these people. I think they're checking out my website, and they were. By the time I got over to to say hey, they were on my website and showed me how many views I had on my channel. And so that's all part of the deal. When I drive around here, the gentlemen that are pouring the concrete, doing the work that they do, doing the site excavation, they'll see my car, and maybe they'll go there. And what I do is, like more recently today, I typed in and shared my YouTube Truth playlist. The audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation, as well as the there's powerful documentaries. So this is dropping down a few feet, and then around here is where the water will just drain away. When we have a hurricane come in, Hurricane Florence gave us several feet of rain. That's got to go somewhere, and it'll find a location to go. It has no problem doing that. What we do with heavy equipment and technology to determine elevation and grade the site, it causes the water to drain away. So as I'm driving around here, I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna comment on the contours that are created. That's a big deal. The middle of a home site is going to be the high spot, and then there's going to be a low spot on each side of it. It's just the way that it is. So when we look at the, I've got a Hitachi TV, there's a Hitachi backhoe. And then on the Caterpillars and that, they'll move a lot of earth. They'll dig it up and bury equipment or bury cable. This one here has a claw on it. That'll be for moving trees and pipe for burying in the ground for the plumbing. So what I'll do here, I'm just gonna park out of the way here for a minute. So right over here, let me zoom out. Okay, we've got the ocean over there, fountains right there, a little puddle right here, perfectly showing the reflections of those trees right there. I won't be able to do this once the houses are in because, well, I'm not going to be creeping around people's houses, right? But we've got the low spot there, a retention pond, and then the beautiful mature trees, and looks like, I don't know what kind of bird that is exactly. But it perfectly fills the container. That's how it actually works. So when I take this right here and just drop it down, that's what we'll see. So when I say over and over again, water doesn't stick to a ball, and I show you, and undisturbed water is flat and level. Howdy. And all that. Hey. Hey, good to see you. How's it going, man? I talked with Rick, your site manager or the director of this out here. You got quite an operation going on.
It's pretty big, man.
Excellent.
What's up,
now, who are you with?
A.O. Hardy.
A.O. Hardy, y'all do a nice job. You did 31 too, right?
Yep.
Wow. And what's your name?
My name's Greg Edwards.
And I'm Robert Forsch. Good to see you,
Nice
Greg.
to meet you, buddy.
Hey, thanks. Now, you're on YouTube right now, live, and then you'll be on I should say you're on Facebook Live right now.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll turn it into a YouTube video and put that up there.
Sweet, man.
So if you go to my if you go to Google and you type hashtag YouTube Truth, you
Yeah.
can't help but find me.
All right.
You guys do an awesome job. The fact that the contour and all that is right, that's a big deal. Now, which one of these machines do you get to operate?
Mine is currently down out there. It's way out there.
Is it what kind of equipment is it?
It's a shear. We split the stumps with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So do you cut the tree when it's standing up? Is it a
We
hydro
have
axe?
guys to come out and do that, and then we pull the stumps up, and then we pile everything up.
What brand is it? A hydro axe or what?
No, it's on an excavator.
Oh, okay.
You know,
It'll snip it right off, huh?
Oh yeah.
My dad used to sell steel to Caterpillar as well as hydro axe. They made the snippers, snip a tree off and move it, and all of that.
Yeah. Sweet, man.
Hey, good morning. Time to get to work.
You want to go help Tony and get you a couple more hours in?
Yeah, man.
You can walk out to him because he's
I'll
going to
walk
make
out.
one more trip, but he needs help out there.
All right. Yeah, I'll head that way. All right. Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Good to see you.
Meet you, man.
Hey, good to meet you too. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah.
And I've got my my Facebook contact information on my YouTube header. Feel free to reach out anytime. I talk to people around the world around the clock.
All right, sweet,
Nice
man.
to meet you.
Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. So, like, one of the things that I could say that I meet people and it's pretty cool, and it is, and I can show you how that goes on the beach, because I'm not just exposing the global lie, I'm exposing how we can involve ourselves in helping people to understand what's happening with that. And when we have a liked video playlist, it gives us the opportunity to show that whatever videos we like and that. Now, see, there's no way I could I could get through there if I needed to, but I'm definitely staying on the blacktop. But I simply wanted to get a kind of a close up and show you. So I would think it would be very likely that he'll go and share that video that he's on, and that's part of the deal too. Is that as we involve ourselves in other people's lives and give them a bit of an opportunity to share what's important to them with their friends and family. What do they do for a living? It's pretty cool. Now here's a whole bunch of geese that found a good place to eat. Yeah, there they are. So why did the goose cross the road? Well, to be on Facebook Live and YouTube video. That's why. So, for example, in here we've got a forklift delivering a whole bunch of oriented strand board. And then they'll put that together really quick and really well. That's one of the other dynamics here. It looks like we've got some a storm rolling in there, the darker in the middle there. And there's the mirror once again. So one of the last things I'm going to do is be in the way of concrete setting up. However, what I did want to do is make my way over there and show you a little bit of what it is, if I can, without getting in the way. So in the process of this, I talked about it yesterday. They have they've set these forms and they're ready to pour the concrete. That'll probably happen today, I would think. So I can operate just about anything with the motor, tractors, heavy equipment, any of that kind of thing, manual, automatic. It's one of those things where what's happening is I've found it very interesting to do a lot of different things, and I've had a very diverse career, including real estate improvement and sales, purchasing, fixing up, and selling, and that we did really well with. Well, to me it looks like this is the most out of the way place that I can be, or one of them, but I think I want to do it a little bit differently. So we had, imagine when you're looking at the construction of a high-rise hotel, there will be hundreds of concrete trucks working to deliver that concrete, and lots of pumpers around to do that. And it'll be around the clock, and they don't want to have, I forget what the term is, it's where cured concrete meets up with uncured. You don't want to have that happen. You want to have a continuous pour so it's all connected really good. Now, when I was in high school, I had a contest I was in to make a bridge out of balsa wood, like 30 grams of balsa wood and then 5 grams of glue. And what I did is I took the glue and put it over the outside surface of the balsa wood, which added a lot of strength to the structure. I got second place, but it held up over 180 pounds, 30 ounces of balsa wood. It's kind of like the concept of taking a piece of styrofoam and making a surfboard by putting a resin on the outside of it. I had worked with fiberglass before. So now the wet road shows the mirror really good too. So it's not perfectly flat, it's pretty close though. between here and California, there's missing over 650 miles of curvature, which is over a 30% grade. No vehicle could have driven it. No locomotive could work a grade of that. It's a 30% grade, more than that. Couldn't do it. And I averaged 55 miles per gallon with a modified diesel Volkswagen. That was about a decade ago. Now, in the reflection in the view is the addition to the Seacoast Medical. That's a concave mirror on the face of it. They've got a heliport here for helicopters to land. So it's very conveniently located, and yeah, they're going to have a controlled intersection here for obvious reasons. We get a lot of traffic here. So like when I said it looks like there's weather coming in, I believe there was, and here it is. So there's things that we can believe, there's things that we can know, and then there's the deceiving part. And I believe it's only by God's grace, our unmerited favor, that grants us the ability to determine what's actually true. What is the truth? How will you know when the truth is right in front of you? That's a big deal. I asked that question to all the people that interviewed me at the Flat Earth Conference. Logan Paul, Rich from The Guardian. I've had the favor of being viewed by over 25 million people and seeing my name. That's why, one of the reasons why I hashtag my name. It's not an easy one to spell. And I have to repeat it back several times normally because of that. So we not only have the water falling down, we've got the water flying off of all the tires that are spinning, 45 miles an hour or so, however many miles, however fast they're spinning. Right? There's the big flat spot right there. They carved that out to create the surface, the slanted surface for the on-ramp and off-ramp right there. So one of the main reasons why I do this and explain it like I do is simply because I want people to know the information to make an informed choice on your eternity, for an eternal perspective that you can enjoy, hopefully. Because a lot of people are basing their eternity on a lie. So I talked about it in the beginning of the view. Yes, the law of non-contradiction. If there's contradictory statements, only one of them can be true. Which one is it? Is the Earth a globe? Give me all your evidence. Yeah, it's science fiction, baby. That's what you got. That's all you got for the evidence for the supposed globe is science fiction. Inflatable toys, beach balls, and high-powered artificially intelligent generated computer animations, and that seeing is believing. What do we see? What do we believe? You know, I said it looked like rain was coming, and then it came. I can see it around me. I can see the effects of the wind. I can't see the wind. I talked about a turn signal. This is where a cement truck, there's the cement truck right there, one of them. Truck's turning. Well, the truck was too far back and the car was too far ahead at that very intersection. They didn't get the green arrow. There was plenty of stuff there. They just weren't in the right place to activate the sensor. Now it's time for me to go, right? And it's all very reliable, all very dependable, and that's just the way that it is. Up in the middle of these, in the intersection where I'm going to turn left, is going to be a puddle. We'll see the oncoming cars, all of that. Here's a storage shed moving down the road. This is the time of the year where they move houses too, off of the beach. A little house gets sold, relocated, and that was interesting. I don't know why. And then they'll build a new house in its place. Okay, I got the green arrow. There we go. One of the guys in a group, or maybe it was a guy, may have been artificial intelligence, took it upon himself to post a picture of my home and my address for all of the people to see. A rather angry sort of guy. I said, thanks for that. When I'm not there, I'm at the beach. That's an old picture. I do live broadcasts from there. I show people where I live. I don't have anything to hide. Not hiding anything. I'm looking for the swans. So right here we have, well, not there. Good thing the nose hairs were trimmed. Alligators. We used to have a 12-foot alligator here. Yeah, not anymore. He got put somewhere else. They moved the alligator, but a 12-foot alligator is big. He ate one of the swans, and yeah, they had to find a new home for him. So there you have it. That was today's broadcast for now. And I'll convert this to a YouTube video. I'm not quite finished yet. I have just a little bit more that I want to do. So we're on a little bit of an island here of sorts. It's a high spot with the Waccamaw Swamp all around us. In the stormwater system, that sounds better than sewer system. The stormwater system that surrounds us was delivering water into our neighborhood. Interesting. It was a conduit for, you know, contamination, actually. The other day I stepped out of the house and I could smell automatic transmission fluid, motor oil, and antifreeze. Yeah, not the normal neighborhood smells. And what happened was it was coming from around the swamp area because we've got a lot of entrepreneurs and shade tree mechanics that work on things, and for gosh sakes, we had cars like this get flooded all over the place. Well, it causes the fluids in their engine to go out into the water. I've got a lot of photos of it. The low spot in the road right there had a Walter the rescue turtle. He was in a drain and the water was coming up and he was trapped. He couldn't get out. He would have drowned. Turtles can drown. They need to get up for air. So we've got a pond in our backyard. I'll show it to you. I've done that before. So even though, you know, like just dropping the temperature of the house 1 degree, like around bath time after I do my bath, this system right here will pull the water out of, a lot of water out of the air, the humidity. So that's what it'll do, and that's why I'll set it up like that. So reality basically exposes the global lie. So when you have the opportunity to get out and enjoy the beauty and majesty of creation, one of the powerful verses of Scripture, I would say do it. Just do it. Scripture says that He is evident within His creation. The Creator is evident within His creation. This isn't a celestial sneeze, a godless cosmic Big Bang. That's just the reality of that. The beauty and majesty, the birds and all that, all the creation proclaims His majesty and greatness. So this is Robert Forsch. Thanks so much for your public and private encouragement. I appreciate that. Oops.